Competition, realistically is not what you're going to be used to.
Oh, damn.
This is not the same Milwaukee Bucks team that got eliminated in the first round of the postseason in the last 2 years. Yes, I know it's only the preseason, but in a lot of cases, you can still figure out a lot about an individual team, even though the games don't matter. And in the case of the Milwaukee Bucks, their 2 games with Giannis and Dame both on the court together showed me just how good this team could truly be. Last season, the Milwaukee Bucks' biggest issue was their poor defense, especially on the perimeter. Over the past 3 seasons, including this preseason, the Bucks have used 3 different defensive approaches. In 2023, under Coach Bud, they would aggressively close out on 3-point shooters above the break, relying on Jrue Holiday to funnel players into Brook Lopez for rim protection. However, after a disappointing first-round exit, Budenholzer was replaced by Coach Adrian Griffin. Griffin found himself in a tough spot when he took the Bucks job, expecting Jrue was the point guard, only to get Damian Lillard after a late trade before training camp. However, that doesn't excuse his poor defensive strategy to start the season. Griffin moved away from using Brook Lopez in his usual drop coverage, opting for a more versatile approach that had Lopez switching onto guards on the perimeter. This, of course, led to a rough start for the Bucks, with players urging a return of the drop coverage after a disastrous defensive showing against the Raptors. Ultimately, Coach Griffin's decision to listen to his vets ended his tenure with Milwaukee after he lost the locker room and was eventually fired. When Doc Rivers took over, he couldn't change much, and the Bucks reverted to a defensive scheme similar to what they played under Coach Bud. However, after a full-off season, the coaching staff has introduced yet another defensive scheme, but this time it looks more promising. The plan is simple. Don't close out aggressively on perimeter shooters, still contesting their shots, but staying in position to guard the drive, and the biggest adjustment is going to be in the front court, where the Bucks plan to use a tag team-like approach with Giannis and Lopez. For example, if the ball handler gets into the paint, Lopez will step up while Giannis rotates behind him, ensuring they always have a big man protecting the basket. In the preseason game against the Bulls, this Bucks' new defensive scheme was put to the test. The first half was a bit rough, with Giannis being late on his rotations and getting dunked on as a result. After halftime, Milwaukee's defense sparked a 21-2 run in the third quarter, dominating on both ends of the floor. They disrupted the Bulls by jumping into passing lanes, forcing turnovers, and capitalizing on them on offense. If this new look Bucks defense can put them somewhere around the top 10 best defenses in the league, that's all Milwaukee needs. And when you look at how good this team is going to be offensively, they're going to be a truly terrifying team when everything's clicking. On the offensive side of the ball, the Bucks are still learning to play together, working through the motions and focusing on simple reads. While most discussions about their offense revolve around the duo of Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo, there's an important piece often overlooked: Chris Middleton. In fact, when you look at this Bucks team, it feels more like a big 3 than just a dynamic duo. Middleton's presence is crucial to the Bucks' success, as his ability to score, create, and make smart decisions add an extra layer to Milwaukee's offense. The chemistry between Dame and Giannis is key, but Middleton rounds out the team's potential on both ends of the floor. Despite being 33, injury-prone in recent seasons, and seeing his points per game drop from 20 to 15 with Damian Lillard on the team, Chris Middleton showed his value when Giannis and Lillard were sidelined in the first-round series against Indiana. Chris Middleton stepped up, averaging 24.7 points, 9.2 rebounds, and 4.7 assists while playing 38 minutes per game. This was the 3-time All-Star version of Chris Middleton, reminding everybody just how important he is to the team's success. And to further prove my point, here are the 3 key reasons why Middleton is so important to the Bucks' success. Reason number 1 is how he complements Dame and Giannis. Middleton's game fits perfectly alongside Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. While the mid-range jump shot has faded in today's NBA, Middleton remains a master of it, leading the league by hitting 58.5% of his mid-range jumpers last season, which is better than Kevin Durant and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, which is an incredible stat. The second reason is because of how good he is in the clutch, as Middleton is unafraid of the big moments. Chris Middleton thrives in the big moments, as during the Bucks' 2021 championship run, he made 15 tying or go-ahead buckets in the fourth quarter or overtime, tying 2007 LeBron James for the most clutch shots in a single single postseason in the past 25 years. Then the third reason has to do with his low usage rate mixed with high efficiency. Middleton's ability to contribute without dominating the ball is a major asset. With Dame and Giannis commanding the majority of offensive touches, Middleton's usage rate dropped in the 2023-24 season. Yet he still delivered 15.1 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 5.3 assists on nearly 57% effective field goal shooting. His ability to maximize fewer opportunities, and he's proven that he can step up and take more shots when needed. As seen in last year's postseason, Middleton remains a key part of Milwaukee's success, especially in the clutch and with his efficient scoring. The Bucks could run very little plays but still be a dominant offensive team just because of the attention each player in their big three demands, allowing all of them to get easier buckets. But of course, the most important factor of the Bucks' offensive success will be the play of Damian Lillard. After making 11 All-NBA teams with the Portland Trail Blazers, Damian Lillard didn't receive a single vote in his first season with Milwaukee. His production dropped significantly from 32 points per game with the Blazers to just 24 points per game with the Bucks, along with worse efficiency. This decline was due to several factors. He wasn't in top shape due to the trade situation, he was dealing with a divorce court case, and had to adjust to being the second option in Milwaukee's offense. Plus, the Bucks had a coaching change before and during the season, which made for an absolute roller coaster of the year for the Milwaukee Bucks. Heading into this season, the Bucks believe that better stability, cohesion, and health will help this team return to title contention. On Media Day, Damian Lillard spoke about a conversation he had with Giannis in the locker room before Game 4 of the Pacers series, where Dame said, "I don't know what's going to happen, but me and you have to get connected. We've got to get something done." Giannis agreed, and once he had agreed, the conversation went a totally different way after that. As Dame said, it became much more of an open conversation. Even though Dame and Giannis could not meet in the offseason due to Giannis playing in the Olympics and getting married, they still communicated frequently, and they believe they've gotten to know each other better over the offseason. In the preseason, Lillard already seems a lot more comfortable compared to last year, as in the first game against the Pistons, he came out hot, hitting 3 tough triples within the first 5 minutes. However, even last season, Lillard played well without Giannis on the floor. So the real test is how Dame performs when Giannis is next to him. In the 2 preseason games with Giannis healthy, Lillard had a rough game against the Lakers in the first game, but bounced back against the Bulls, putting up 20 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, and 2 steals on 60% shooting. Then when you look at his direct plays with Giannis, the pair visually looked more comfortable together, as to start the game, it's Dame who comes off a screen from Giannis and drills the long 2. Then with Giannis at the nail, Lillard gets the ball off another dribble handoff and makes the mid-range jumper once again. Then a focal point for the Milwaukee offense this season is using their bigs in post-ups, as here Giannis rim runs to establish inside position on the smaller Terry, and then with a great pass from Lillard, Giannis gets an easy 2. Here you see it again, as this time Giannis gets deep position on rookie Buzelis, who is just simply overmatched. Then on his own, Dame was still able to be Dame, as first he drove to the rim for a layup, then hit his patented step back 3-pointer, and then later in the game, he pulled off the same step back move, this time from the corner, draining another triple. These quote-unquote Dame-like plays need to happen whether Giannis is on the floor or off it, as Lillard must continue to look for his jumper no matter who else is on the floor with him. Then for Giannis, there's something going on that nobody's talking about, and that's the fact that he's finally coming into a season without any injury concerns. Last season, Giannis had surgery on his knee over the off-season and was only cleared to run just 2 weeks before the preseason began. So now having a healthy off-season and actually getting game time with the Greek national team in the Olympics, Giannis is already in mid-season shape. However, over these first couple of games, he was looking a little bit rusty, as I believe he started 0 of 4 against the Bulls, as he ended the game with 24 points, 10 rebounds on just 47% shooting, which, believe it or not, is highly inefficient for Giannis, but I fully expect those numbers to get back up to the high 50s or even 60s by the time the regular season comes around. The Bucks have one more preseason game left to play against the Mavericks, which might have already happened by the time you're seeing this video, but it will be in the regular season, preseason where we can really understand just how good of a basketball team the Milwaukee Bucks are compared to the rest of the NBA. And if you want to see my thoughts on how this Bucks team stacks up against the rest of the NBA, make sure to watch this video, where I rank the 10 best teams for the 2025 NBA season.